now recording. So we do record these, and then we put this not only in our newsletters, but also in our YouTube channel. You will find a lot of information in our YouTube channel, including a new series that we are doing both in Spanish and in English that talks to the clients that are very worried about what happens to their properties should they get deported, or if they cannot re-enter the US if they leave. So if you are interested in any of those things, feel free to go to our YouTube channel, where we will be putting all that information in there. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If you see me looking to the right, it's because I am letting people come in, as well as looking at your questions. So now that housekeeping items are over, I am so thrilled to
Let's do it, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
that you put yourself in mute if you can. There we go. I am so incredibly excited to have today someone who is not only an amazing top producer, but also someone that I consider a friend. I've known Daniel Llerena from the DC metro area for a long time, and I've seen him not only as someone who is continuously looking to make sure that he's providing the best of the best for his clients, but also for those around him. He's very involved with NARIP and the Latino community, as well as investors, as well as the luxury market. So he's someone that holistically knows how to provide an incredible customer service at every single level of where you are. So with that, I'm super excited to introduce Daniel Llerena. Also, guys, we do have people that are outside of the Metro DC area, so do me a favor. We love when referrals are coming from outside of the Virginia, DC, and Maryland area. Make sure that in the comments you are putting your information and where you're from, in case somebody is looking to refer business your way. So, Danny, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So tell us a little bit about your journey, and what was the turning point when you realized that you were ready to take your business to the next level?
So I want to say thank you for having me. It's a little nerve-wracking having so many people, right? I talk to people all the time. Every day I'm talking to somebody, but it's a little nerve-wracking. But how did I get started? I've been in real estate for almost 10 years now. I started on a small little brokerage. I was a 50-50 producer. I didn't really care about the commission up front. And I just wanted to learn and learn and learn. Started with the Donald Care Group. I was there for almost 2 years. Like I said, 50-50 commission. And I was Ubering. So I was driving in my car to keep on bringing some type of income. But I also wanted to learn the neighborhoods because I didn't know much. Even though I grew up here, I just didn't know every single neighborhood in the DMV. But and it also gave me the opportunity to keep talking to people. So all I did is I Ubered for 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 9. I went to the office. I studied the contracts. I asked questions. I literally just picked everybody's brain. I was asking them if I can join them for an appraisal, if I can join them for inspection. That was just all I wanted to do is just learn. I was a sponge. That's all. Then 4 o'clock came. I went back to Ubering, and I was Ubering almost till 10 o'clock. Did it every day. I started doing open houses. I did open houses on Thursday, Fridays, sometimes from 6 to 7, 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 during the spring and summertime. Then I do open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. I used to do 2 open houses. I do 11 to 1, and then from 2 to 4. I was just hustling. I knew I had to build a book of business before I can just, be out there. I just wanted to show my face.
I'm going to tell people, how many closings did you have your first year?
My first year, it was 35, a little over $10 million.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. In my second year, I did 52 transactions at almost $15 million.
That's pretty impressive, right?
So, but it was a hustle. It was, I hustle. I wasn't stopping.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times people forget that this is a job, right? And you do have to, how much do you give, and how much is what you're getting into. We see that with the real estate. Now, your first few years was about the hustle, and I really am happy to hear, Daniel, that you talk about that, right? About everything that you have to do in order to get there. Now you're building an incredible team. But tell us a little bit, when was the turning point when you realized that you were ready to take your business to the next level?
So after my second year in the Donna Career, I knew I had to, I didn't want it to get more commission. I already had people coming in, they were calling me. So once I started getting referrals, that's when I said, you know what, I need to join a company that it's going to support me and also give me a little bit of more income, more commission. So I joined Arla. I've been in Arla for almost 8 years now, going towards 9 years. And I I was just busy, and then my brother came in, and then I had another agent that just wanted to help me out, and she was just wanting to learn. Um, and she came in with me, and we were just, the team just went ahead and changed. It came out of nowhere, right? Just became the team. So I was the Llerena group for 8 years. And I know Sada and I talk about, in January of this year, I rebranded to the Cosmos Group, which is very hard to do, but it was something that I can talk to you guys in a little further. But it's just the business was just coming. I was getting a lot of referrals after my first 2 years of selling over close to 100 houses. Then I started getting referrals from clients, and I started getting referrals from friends. Then I knew I needed some help. So my brother came in, helped me out. Then I had somebody by Andrea who came in and helped me. She was helping me out as basically an assistant, right? But she was also an agent in Maryland and Virginia. So she had the ability to sell, but also to help me out. So created the Llerena group. Can't hear you, Sarah.
Sorry, people are they're texting me that they can't get in, they're having issues with their link, so I'm trying to multitask. Awesome. Now, Danny, I love the fact that I know a lot of agents, right? Through NARIP, I travel all across the country, and I get to sit down with a lot of top producers. And I love the fact that you're very self-aware, which I think a lot of people are not. You're very humble. And if you've ever met Danny and you see how amazing he is, he's always someone that is willing to sit down with you, tell you what you need to do to get to the next level, as well as he's very self-aware. I know that a lot of agents get stuck at a certain level. So can you talk to me about what mindset shifts, including habits or daily routines, were game changers in your success?
I think a lot of people get stuck. I get stuck sometimes, even now. So I'm the type of guy that I have to think outside of the circle, outside of the box, and see what else I can actually do. Right. When I was a beginner and I wasn't getting those referrals, I was still doing open houses, and I was trying to think of outside of the box and what to actually do. When you do an open house, I've noticed that a lot of people don't promote it as their own listing, which I did. If I'm doing somebody else's open house, I'm going to promote it as my listing. I'm doing it. And if that agent doesn't allow you to promote it the way you should be promoting it, then that's not an agent you want to do an open house for. You want to grab an open house and you want to promote it on your social media as it's your own, right? Because that's how you got to fake it till you make it. So you're promoting it as your own. So I'm thinking outside, what else can I actually do, right? I start my day at 4:30 in the morning, where I wake up, I'm replying back to clients that text me or email me back, not text me, but email me at nighttime. I go to the gym at 5, I come back at 6:30, take my son to school, and I'm in the office every morning by 8:30, 8:45. That's where I start my day. And then I think of what I need to do to actually be productive. Every day, I have a job so I'm in a point system, and I can share this with you guys. If you want to email me my information there. So every day I have to reach out to a client So I have to reach 100 points, and everything's a little bit of different. So every client I reach out to, 15 points, right? So I have to talk to somebody and I give myself 15 points, right? I have to visit a house and I give myself 5 points. So I got to be productive every single day and doing something every single day. Like, I'm not sitting there. I'm in the office right now. I came to the office at 8:45. I was still in the office. The snow's not going to stop me. I don't give excuses to myself.
I love
So
you say that. And I think that that's one of the things that we all need to figure out what helps us get to where we need to get, right? So for example, I don't give with my team, we have the greatness tracker, which I've talked about every single virtual mastermind that we have. And it tells me which activities, or it tells us which activities we need to do every day and who.
Mackenzie,
So
exactly my point. It's been an hour
oh,
now.
Miguel, I think you're not on mute. There we
Oh.
go. Mute him. So it's to me, it's one of those things that I need to figure out what are my money-making activities and make sure that I'm allotting time for it, because it's very easy to get lost in the transactional stuff. But getting lost in the transactional stuff is not going to allow me to get to where I need to get. Now, tell me, what are some of the specific strategies that helped you go from an ordinary producer to a top producer?
thinking
Other
outside the
than
box, thinking outside the box, you know, when I first started real estate, I used to go to open houses. I wanted to do everything that down different from other agents. You know, you do an open house, okay. So, you know, what do agents do when they do an open house? They just wait for the clients and, you know, they say hello and that's it, right? I want to put music. I want to talk to them. You know, I want to do everything different. So one of the things I do when I do listings, I pay for staging myself, depending on the size of a house, right? And I get a higher commission, but I do staging, I do cleaning, I help them with, you know, decluttering. And one of the biggest things that sellers hate to do is declutter. As much as anybody says, everybody asks me, what's the hardest thing when you're listing a property is decluttering somebody's house. Everybody hates it. I go in and I tell people, listen, you're going to hate me, but you're going to love me later. You're going to hate me because I'm going to have you declutter your house, but you're going to love me later when you sold your house for a lot of money and half your furniture is already taken out, right? I know it's hard because some of the new agents don't have the funds for it, but I want to provide that. Not a lot of people provide. I don't want to be an agent that all I do is take pictures, put a sales post outside, and wait for the buyer to come. You got to go outside of the box. And what are you going to be different than what another agent? If you're interviewing 2 to 3 agents and they're all coming out with the same thing, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do social media. Okay, that's the marketing. But then I come in and I say, I'm going to pay for staging. I'm going to pay for your deep cleaning. I'm going to send my stager to actually tell you what you need to declutter, what needs to be removed from the house. I'm going to do this, and there's no extra charge to you. You know, the commission's the commission, right? So that's my commission. So I would say, you know, it starts from 2.5% and 3%. I don't go over 3%. I don't have to, right? I'm satisfied with what I'm actually given. So on a $600,000 sale, you're making $15,000. You spend $3,000 out of $15,000, you're still making $12,000. I prefer getting $12,000 and nothing, but I'm providing that extra value to the client on selling a house, right?
Yeah, I think what I hear from this is that you're looking to see how you can provide value and, you know, and trying to see what makes you different. While a lot of other realtors might think that their value proposition is different. And I think one of the things to take from this is the fact that, you know, his strategies might different to what strategies you want to do, but look to see what's authentic to you. Right? If you know Danny, he's somebody that you know, likes all the stuff about making sure things look great, they're streamlined, it goes with what his brand is. So he is looking for ways to add value to his clients that are aligned to his brand. That's fantastic. Now, what role does branding and marketing play in standing out in a crowded real estate space? Because you said about, you know, what your value proposition is with your clients. You talked a little bit about social media and marketing. I know you do a lot. So tell us a little bit about how you approach that.
So marketing, this is one of the reasons I changed the name, because I want to be able to market a little bit different. When I first started real estate, I was working on a company by the Donna Care Group, and I wasn't a big fan because I was working under the Donna Care, right? So when I did a listing or a house for them, it was just, for me, it's like, oh, I'll reach out to Donna. I'll reach out to Donna, right? And it really, it bothered me. So I was at the Llerena group, and I was like, some of my team members, it might bother them, promoting the Llerena group. So I didn't really believe in it. I love my last name, don't get me wrong, it's my family name, but I didn't believe on the product. And you have to believe on the product in order to actually sell it. So I came out with a Cosmos group, because I've always say, reach out, the sky's the limit. In this industry, you can make so much money just depending how hard you want to work. So now I'm just throwing out marketing. I'm doing everything with marketing, social media, reaching out, paying posts. When you do a poster boost, it's a $5 minimum, right? You can just do a $5 minimum, you just post it out. And I tell my team that we want to do videos, right? I want to do videos during the springtime. That's one of the things I'm pushing myself to do this spring and summertime, do videos. But you got to constantly keep doing it. You got to show people that you're in real estate, right? If it's, like I said earlier, if you're doing an open house and somebody else's open house, advertise it like it's your open house, right? Put it on social media. Hey, come check me out. Come say hi, just put something out there. So I'm putting at least one thing. Do I get likes? Some of them, yes, some of them, no, but I'm at least putting it out there, right? I've noticed that when you put your own self, you get more likes than when you're actually putting something like tips, like Tip Tuesday or something like that. You don't get a lot of likes.
I don't know. I get a ton of likes on my Tip Tuesdays. Depends what you're doing for sure.
But I feel like you have to keep going. Just because you do a video doesn't mean that you're going to get clients. You got to keep doing the video. I tell people, you can meet with 100 people and you might get one call.
Yeah. I have to say, again, you guys, you should be looking him up and his team on Instagram. You have a team member, Laudy, who does some of I love her videos because they're always fun. It shows who she is as a person, and it's very authentic to your brand. To your point, a lot of the times when you are in a team where it's somebody's name, how do you represent that brand? What does that brand even mean? Versus having a name that you can actually like stand behind and says, this is what that brand means to me. Sort of like Titan Title, right? To me, we wanted to be the Titans in the space. We wanted to be the protectors of our community. We wanted to do those things. So I completely get that. Now, can you share a time when you had to pivot your strategy to stay ahead other than the name?
Once again, you got to think outside of the box and see what else you have to do. Right? During COVID, I know a lot of people thought the world was ending, but I was still up there. I was still seeing houses by myself. One of the things I like to tell people, and people are like, oh, really? You do that? I do a lot of houses in Silver Spring. That was my bread and butter. I knew every single house in Silver Spring. I used to do open houses in Silver Spring. That was my market. I used to go to Silver Spring. Every house in Silver Spring, I used to leave a business card. Why would I do that? I left a business card because let's say Joe Smith was looking at a house in Silver Spring. He's going to see my business card everywhere. He's going to be like, this guy's in every single house. Right? So I used to just, that's something that I was doing. I knew every single house. When I did an open house, I knew those houses that other people were actually seeing in and out. Right? I literally walked into houses by myself. I pretended that I was a client. I've learned how to read the age of the HVAC system, water heater, through the serial number. Just FYI, the serial number tells you the age of the device. Just, usually it's the first two numbers or the second set of numbers. I learned that I knew the actual measurement of 100 amp electrical panel to a 200 amp electrical panel. I've learned all that because I Googled it, right? So when I used to just think outside of the box. What else? What can I give my buyers? What can I give my clients that no other agents given them, right? So just keep thinking outside of the box.
You became the expert, not only of your area, but also of the homes and of things that you could provide your client. That's excellent. Now, let's shift a little bit the conversation on building stronger relationships, because that's what we all need to do, especially with the times changing, with the whole commission thing. Which, by the way, guys, we're not seeing a lot of changes on that. People are still doing things like they did before. But how do you balance providing value versus asking for business when working with past clients? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that. You know, a lot of people have, I always ask them, like, how are you staying in touch with your past clients? And they're like, I'm not. And that's something that's not great. And I know for a fact you do, because I've had so many of your clients reach back out to me for X or Y, and they're like, oh, I just saw Danny, you know, blah, 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 blah. So how do you balance that? Providing value versus asking for business with those past clients?
So I'll be honest, I do become really good friends with my clients, and we kind of joke around in like text messages all the time. Or if I see something, I'll throw it out them. So I do have that unique connection with my clients. I'm very, very just down to earth. I come in and I am myself when I talk to my clients. So we talk all the time. I text them, like, hey, how are you? Just randomly. I'll be honest with you guys. I just started doing a newsletter. I really did just start doing a newsletter, but you know, if I'm around the neighborhood, I'll text my client, "Hey, Lisa, I'm on East West Highway. Do you want to grab a lunch?" Or, you know, "I'm going to the Parkway Deli. Do you want to, you know, have a coffee?" Or, "Hey, how are you? Like, how are the kids?" I like randomly just text people, and I feel like that's the best way to actually do. And those clients have always referred me. I've seen my clients and some of my friends, you know, like client appreciation days, and they've come to me and it's like, hey, this is my realtor. And I'm like, shh, I'm in somebody else's, I'm somebody else's client appreciation day. You know, give them, but it's just having that connection and being like friends to a certain you know, to a certain part, like, you know, it's just reaching out to them like random hours, random times. I'm not sure. See, depending on the lenders you use, a lot of the lenders, like my lender, he sends me today's X, Y, and Z's birthday. So this is, you know, I text them. This
So
is
your lender, it's your CRM, is what you're telling me.
It's pretty much. I do have a CRM. Don't get me wrong. I do have a CRM, but I like to connect better. You know what? I try to do things that I don't like. I try to do things. I try not to do things that I don't like. You know, how many of you guys get a bunch of emails every single day, newsletter here? They're pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta change it up a little bit, right? You get multiple. How many of you guys just delete, 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 delete without even checking them out? I will say every single one of you do that, right? So my email's being deleted, I'm pretty sure, right? So best way to connect with your client is just reach out to them.
Now, do you connect that to your point systems? Right? Like in my greatness tracker, I'm a firm believer of you have to be authentic with the way that you connect with people, because if you're not being authentic, it's gonna your people are gonna notice, right? And I would rather have less people to connect with, but that I like working with, than a ton of people that I end up hating working with them. So I do have my themes of the day. I know I've said this a bunch of times, but for example, on Mondays, I call my VIPs. On Tuesdays, I do case updates. On Wednesdays, I call new loan officers and new agents. On Thursdays, I call people who I've worked with before, but don't work with it. I don't currently have a contract with. And on Fridays, I call business partners. Do you have in your point system anything like that that kind of systemizes the way that you do things, or you're just kind of like
Like the way that I do things during the week, you mean? I kind of do. So Mondays is like I do start my day every day at the office. I do come to the office every single day and I start my day at the office, right? But my Mondays, I usually am in the office half a day and then I'm out in the field. When I say the field, I'm out looking at constructions, looking at houses, meeting clients. Unless I have a client in the morning that will have to see a house, I'll do that. My Wednesdays is my all day office. So, you know, we get stuff done on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, it's my field day that I'm constantly all day in the field, just, checking out houses. But once again, if I'm in the neighborhood, I will text a client and see. I like to eat, guys. So I like having a partner to eat with. My new TC, she's like, I'm gonna gain weight here. I
You're like,
can't
never
eat.
eat alone, right?
I don't like to eat alone, so I like to eat and I like to explore different places. And I'm out there, breakfast and lunches. So I'm always constantly texting people. Um, but yes, I do have it. And once again, I have a point system that I have to actually reach out to people. So seeing a house is going to give me 5 points. Seeing, talking to an actual client, a new client is going to give me 20 points. Talking to an existing client is going to give me 7 points. So there's a point system that I'm giving myself that I have to reach to 100 points daily, right? So me seeing houses, if I see 5 houses, then I'm giving myself 25 points for seeing 5 houses. But if I talk to a new client, but I'm also thinking, what else can I do, right? What else can I actually do to actually bring more business in? And if I can share this with you guys. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm reaching out to, like right now, I just reached out to Walter Reed in Bethesda, right? Because I heard that Walter Reed has like the housing department, it's not going well. So I said, you know what? Let me reach out to them. Let me see what I can actually do. What kind of value I can provide them. So I said to them, I will give 1/3 of my commission to every referral that comes from Walter Reed towards their closing costs, right? Okay, a lot of people, I don't give my commission away. I don't give my commission away. Completely understand that. That's fine. That's you. I prefer to make $5,000 than nothing, because guess what? That client might refer me to another client that I'm going to get full commission. It's all about building the relationship and building your book of business. So I'm constantly sitting in my office thinking what other things I want to do. I've done, sorry, Sarah, one more thing. And then I've done, like, a lot of people I see, like, not mastermind, but let's go ahead and do a lender, like, first time home buyer seminars. I've done them. Not a lot of people show up. So one of the things is I'm partnering with different churches where I'm actually doing little things like this spring, we're going to be doing in St. Jude's, we're going to be doing pictures with the bunny, with the Easter bunny, right? I'm doing coffee and donuts. We're going to be doing different things before I do a first time or a seminar. I want them to get to know who I am first. In this business, you got to spend a little bit of money to make more money.
I love that. So we have a couple of questions, some through my cell phone, some through the chat. Through the chat, I think Heather is putting what Alba's question is, which is, do you have a reward system for when you reach your 100 plus daily points, or is it a way to keep yourself accountable for the things that you need to do?
I don't have a reward system. My reward is eating. So I constantly eat. So I'm not gonna lie. Well, every time Sarah and I talk, like, where do you want to eat? Let's meet somewhere. Let's eat somewhere. Let's go out to eat.
So basically he can go and eat out if he gets to his 100 daily points. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question. What is your strategy to harvest specific areas? What type of marketing do you use and what has worked for you?
So I do a lot of Silver Spring, and I'm super busy, guys. I do my yearly is about $20 to $30 million producer. So, but I still knock on doors, or I do hangers, right? I stopped doing mailers because one of the things when I get a mailer, I grab it and I throw it out, right? So I do knockers, and then people will say no soliciting. I'm not soliciting. I'm actually just saying hello, and I'm letting you know that I have an open house, right? So I do a lot in Silver Spring, so I try to do that. Also, your neighborhood. I tell my agents, the one place that you have to promote, and it's your own neighborhood. Your own neighborhood. Have an ice cream social. Get an ice cream truck. They'll come for free. Their minimum is $100, and you have everybody come and have ice cream on you, right? Do another thing. Another thing you can do is a recycle day. Get a dumpster. Costs $500 to $600, and then go ahead and go around and knock on doors and invite them, or just send them a letter and saying, hey, I have a dumpster coming in. Let's do a spring cleanup. In my neighborhood, they love to recycle, or they a shredder. They love having a shredder because they like to shred all their papers, right? Like every single quarter, you can actually do something. You can actually do something every single month. That might be too much, but every single quarter, just think outside of the box. One of my a friend does coffee and donuts at his house, and he has like 40 people coming in. It's amazing. It's just the neighborhood,
I
right?
love that.
If you're promoting your own neighborhood, that's the neighborhood. You live there, but if you have an open house or you have a listing, you can do the same thing in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it's about being different and try to provide value. For this month's book club, we are reading Unreasonable Hospitality. And one of the things that really connected with me was that at the end of, I love your mug, by the way. At the end of the meal, they would give them something that was like really difficult to make, but not most people liked it. And it's not about what you want to do, it's about what people want. And I think that you embody that. Okay, so I was asking, when partnering with churches, which I think is a great idea, how do you stay on your lane as a real estate professional without being quote unquote religious?
So my son goes to St. Elizabeth, and I actually promote, and I'm going to start promoting in St. Jude's. So I send an email, and I said, my clientele is 5% or 10% of the Latin community, very small community, very small. My clients are Hispanic, majority are more Americans, right? So I sent an email, and throughout 10 years of my careers, I've seen some really bad things that people do in different, to other agents have done to the Latin community. So what I do is I tell them straight forward and say, listen, I go to St. Jude. So that's when not St. Jude, St. Elizabeth, my son goes to. But I want to promote in this neighborhood. I don't want to promote in my son's school, because if something goes wrong, or somebody doesn't like the fact how I actually did something, or I sold the house for $100,000 less, I just don't want that. My son's going to be there for the next 8 years. So St. Jude's is a school that I actually a church that I chose because that's where I used to go to when I actually was growing up. That's where I lived, off Mill Road. So I tell them, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to help the community out, but this is the way I can help the community, by actually helping, choosing one of you guys at church that I can actually promote myself. And this is what I want to do. I want to help you guys. But at first, I want them to learn who I am. I want them to meet me, right? So let's do like other events. We're doing the bunny, the Easter bunny. Get a Easter bunny, you just pay somebody to dress up like an Easter bunny. You get a photographer, take pictures, have coffee and donuts, and then just keep on doing things. Once people know who you are, then you can actually go ahead and do a seminar. But just be upfront with people, right? No one's going to say to you, you have to come to my church. No, no one's going to say that. You're giving them something that they're looking for. So you
Yeah,
have.
I think you're right. I think it's about the value that you're bringing by being authentic, not only to yourself, but them. And I think that's very valuable. Now, we've talked a lot about what you've done to be able to bring business in, but let's talk about how you specifically find ways that are simple but very impactful to make clients feel valued through the transaction. Can you help come up with us some ideas on what are some simple yet impactful ways that the agents can make their clients feel valued throughout the transaction?
Be there for them. When it's a listing, go to their house often, talk to them, text them, message them, right? Once again, think outside of the box, what you can actually do, right? If it's buyers, show them as many houses, take them out to lunch, have that connection with them. I like my buyers driving in my car, because then I get that connection with them, right? When it's buyers, I tell my buyers this: I'm going to show you every single house. Every single house you like, or every single house we can choose, we can figure out, we're going to show you. The inventory is low, so there's not a lot of houses to see. But I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go to lunch. We're going to see every single house. Once all the houses are done, guess what we're going to do? we're going to be on top of the market, right? So now when a new house comes in the market, we're going to be on it right away. Find other, text them. Like I reach out to other agents and find other homes that people, your buyers might be interested in. Even if they're not going to like it, text them. Just kind of get some, like if it's a listing, I'm constantly at my clients when I'm doing the listing. I go to their houses when they're doing touch-ups, when they're cleaning up. I just stop by, I'll text them, hey, are you home? Just have that communication with them.
I think right now what I'm hearing from a lot of my agents is that because the inventory is so low, it's about who you know. So it's about calling the other agents and making sure that you are up to date as to when new listings are going to come out. And I think that that's what's so powerful, that you know the area so well. And by doing something as simple as leaving your business cards on all of these listings that you've looked at, it's showing that, who's the expert in this area, who's the one that's looking at all the houses and know what's going on. That's wonderful. Now, tell me a way when you went above and beyond for a client and how it impacted your business.
I'll tell you guys, my first luxury home, right? My first multi-million-dollar home, I'll tell you. It was, I'm not gonna say the name of the client, but it was a Georgetown property, $2.5 million home. It was in the market for 2 years. And she had fired her second, it was two of the top luxury real estate companies. And I was interviewing. I was one of the 3 people interviewing. I was the youngest one. This is 7 years ago. I was the youngest one, and I go in there, and she says, and then a couple weeks later, she calls me and says, I want to give it to you. And I said, will you mind if I asked you why? She said to me, because you're the only one that talked to me like a normal person. You didn't bullshit. You just went ahead and you walked in, and you walked the house with me, and you told me what was wrong with my house. She gave me 3 months to sell her $2.5 million house that it's been on the market for 2 years. Out of the 3 months, 30 days of it was fixing the house. There was carbon monoxide coming in. There was water leakage everywhere. It was just horrible. Guess what? I wanted to do something different, so I staged the house completely. I didn't have money. I put everything in credit cards, and I just did a prayer. I spent $15,000 staging a 6-bedroom, 6-bath home. Okay. My stager now, she was helping me at nighttime. Another agent was helping me out. We were just putting furniture together, staged the house, thought about what else can I do. There was a piano there. I got a pianist. I paid him a couple $100 to come and, tune the piano and play the piano at an open house. Then I said, you know what? The walls are empty. I need some art. So I said, you know what? Let me call an art gallery. Contact an art gallery. I pay for their insurance, a couple $100 for their insurance. I was owing $15,000 in this house, and I had 2 months to sell the house. And then on top of that, I did a wine tasting. So I contact a vineyard. They send me some wine. And guess what? They didn't show up for the open house, but they sent me the wine. So I was in desperate need of people. And that's when Arla came in. Arla, the whole staff of Arla just wore black, and they came in and started serving wine to everybody. I had an wine art gallery in an open house. I don't even know how many people. I think it was over 500 people that showed up on Saturday and Sunday. Sold the house for $2.1 million. She was on the market for 2.25, but she initially wanted 2.5. Sold it for $2.1 million cash, the 3rd month.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I love the fact that you looked at what would be unique for this particular house, and then you went, for it. That's awesome. And that your brokerage, supported you, because that's what we're all about here. We need to support each other for sure. And I will tell you, if you know him, Danielle is a connector. I remember one time I was driving somewhere and we were chatting about kids, and I was telling him that my middle son loves football, and he was like, "Oh, I know the coach for so and so school. Do you want me to have him come over and, just talk to him and whatnot?" So again, he's just someone who's very authentic, and that he really does want to connect you, and that he does really want to do what's best for you, and I think that comes through. Now, again, if you have any questions for him, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll address them. Danny, what's the best piece of advice you have for new agents who want to build a reputation for exceptional service?
Think outside of the box. Don't make excuses for yourself. Go out there, be different. Don't be the same person. Don't be another agent where you're taking pictures, putting a sign outside and waiting for the buyers, right? Just keep doing and then hustle every single day. Every single day, there should be something. You should be doing something every single day. I will say something that I tell my agents all the time. So many people talk about cold calling. I've never done a cold call in my entire career. And why do I do that? Because I prefer doing an open house. Because when you do a cold call, the whole purpose of a cold call is to get somebody face to face. When you're in an open house, you already have them face to face. Now it's your time to shine. Practice among yourself. Just talk to yourself. Be in the car. Just think, what else can I do? How can I differentiate myself from a typical agent? Right? Show them pictures that you're doing stuff, like do stuff, like post it on social media. I have a client that lost a house in Virginia, a mile and a half away from Tyson's Corner. If anybody has a house 1.5, 2 miles away in Virginia, up to $2 million, please let me know. So I had a house. I literally I didn't write, but I just wrote an email. I printed and said, "Dear neighbor," I printed out, I bought 150 stamps. I went ahead and did labels. I put it in there. I took a picture. "Hey, Sean, I just sent 150 letters to the neighborhood that we just lost a house in. Hopefully somebody's thinking about selling and can save some money," right? It's just thinking outside of the box, guys. It's just, you got to be proactive and you got to actually, what else can I do? How can I differentiate myself from the typical agent?
I want you to stop there, and I want people to really make sure they connected with what you said, because that is something that I see a lot of realtors that do a lot for their clients, but they don't tell the clients. And this is an easy way of you showcasing your value. He not only created the letter and then put it in an envelope, but he took a picture of it and sent it to his buyer, letting him know what he was doing that differentiates him from others, in order to see if he can get him a house in this extremely low inventory type of situation. I think a lot of the times, I always tell my team, I'm like, I know you're doing the work, but are you communicating it? And are you communicating it effectively? Because, people might not know that you're doing what you're doing, and then they're not going to be appreciative of that. I love that. Now, I'm a systems person, so I'm always looking for systems, right? Like I have, 3 kids, all these offices, new markets, NAREP, HWP, all those things. So I personally need systems that kind of keep me going where I need to be going. What systems or touch points do you have in place to ensure consistent communication with your clients, if any?
Phone. My phone. My phone. I have an amazing new teammate, colleague. She's actually on the call, and she is putting a lot of systems in place with me. But I'm very old school, guys. I'm very, very old school. I come in when I show houses. I still have that piece of paper with me. And I still show, and I'm looking at that piece of paper and I'm showing the houses with my piece of paper. But I print out everything's, I'm very old school. I will call you guys. If you text me and I call you, I'm gonna call you. I'm a talker. I like to talk. I don't like to text. Sarah knows that. She'll text me and then I'll just call her. She's like, "I'm busy. I'm texting you. Text me back." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna call you."
like Angie say 1979.
It is. I
Oh,
am.
what CRM do you use? I'm getting that question from somebody right now.
My what?
What CRM do you use?
MD, what is that? Sorry.
CRM. Sorry,
Oh,
my
CRM. So Arla we have our own CRM.
so you don't use like Follow Up Boss
No,
or
we have our own CRM here, and we also have we also have an Excel sheet with our like clients, and we kind of split them up like my top clients that refer me top businesses with like all my clients, and but Arla has its own. I did pay for a new CRM. One of my agents really liked it, but I don't use it. I like the Arla one. I think that's sufficient for me.
so I want to say two things that really impacted me that you said. Number one is you don't necessarily love the system, so you hired someone to help you. Having systems makes your job easier and better, but it doesn't bring you money. So he's delegating these non-money making activities to somebody else who maybe really likes what they're doing and can come up with a system that's easier for them. And number two, the most important thing is, and I'll tell you this, having interviewed hundreds of top producers across the nation, I will tell you that I'm seeing a pattern, and it doesn't matter what CRM you use or what this or what that. Number one, you have to track where your business is coming from. Did you hear him when he said he has split his Excel spreadsheet for, who uses, his people that have referred him business, those that he's nurturing, etc. So it's a matter of being able to track where your business is coming from. So tracking. And number two, it doesn't matter how amazing your CRM is. If you're not picking up the phone and you're not trying to have conversations, it doesn't matter. For some agents, it works, but it really is about that face-to-face connection and being able to communicate with people.
Can I
Now,
say something, Sarah, real quick?
yeah, go
If
for
you
it.
guys have put an offer on a house and the agent doesn't pick up the phone and you can't reach out to the agent, does not bother you? It really bothers the hell out of me, right? You're not picking up. How the hell are you getting business? So I don't want to be that agent. I want to pick up the phone. And if you're somebody calling me, yes, it sucks that we get a lot of spam calls and 240, 703 numbers, but you never know who it is. So I always pick up my phone, always.
I love that. And I think, again, this is a relationship business. We always forget about, when we think it's a relationship business, that it has to do with the people that are clients, but it's a relationship business, meaning with agents as well. When those agents that have that listing or that buyer side, on the other side, know who you are and they know that you're being authentic and you really want to help them, they're going to want to work with you and they're going to set better expectations with your clients. I will tell you, having worked with Danny for many years, is that 99.9% of his closings are smooth, people are happy, including the agents on the other side, including whenever there's any issue. Because they know that, just like Angie said, rock stars pick up the phone. So he will pick up the phone and he's always looking at ways on trying to make things better for everybody in the transaction. Awesome. Now, I want to hear a little bit, what books or podcasts have you been listening to and that you would recommend?
That's not a good question.
You're not listening to anything?
That's not a good question.
How about Sarah?
I listen to I listen to, what? I hear everyone. Because I'm always at the office, I'm constantly talking to like my colleagues here and listening to them. I listen to everything people say. As much as you think I'm not listening, I can be right here and then somebody can talk and behind. I'm listening to your conversation. Right? I'm listening. I'm just absurd. I'm a sponge. Even till now, I'm a sponge. Right? So, like, I hear other people talking about I'll tell you that one of the things I just heard, that when you're doing a video, you shouldn't be saying, "Hello, my name is." It's already on it. It's on the body, right? Or you shouldn't say the address of the house. You're wasting time. So welcome to, like everybody says when they're doing a video, right? Hey, my name is Daniel. Welcome to X, Y, and Z property. All that information is already on the bottom of the the post. So I'm listening to that. Like, okay, when I do my videos, I'm not going to introduce myself. I'm just going to be like, hey, listen, guys, I got this awesome house in Brooklyn, Northeast. Come check it out. Right. So just straight to the point, but I'm always listening. So no, Sarah, I'm sorry. I don't have any books or podcasts that I actually listen to. Uh, my podcast is my colleagues and my friends and everybody that I actually listen to on the side.
Es el único que uso.
I love that. Now, I will tell you this, Danny, and I'm glad that you were open and honest, about this. And let me tell you why. There are so many new agents that I think are so charming and would do really well. But then when I talk to them, a month later, they're like, well, I'm still working on my website, or I'm listening to this book and, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you gotta act. So what I'm hearing from you is that, you're a relationship person. You would rather hear what somebody else is doing, what they're reading, what they're connecting, but having that one-to-one conversation rather than, getting your source of knowledge from from somewhere else.
I do, but remember, thinking outside and doing something different. I want to hear what they're doing because I want to do something different because I want to do it better.
I love that.
I want to different myself. If you're doing that, I want to do something different. If you come to my open houses, I've never done a house not staged, right? And it sucks sometimes you have to do somebody else's open house, but I always have music in my background. I don't have cookies. I don't have water, none of that stuff. I don't bother people. I have that great conversation with people. And, and if they ask me questions, I know the answers. Instead, I'm not that guy that's like, oh, let me ask the seller. This is not my listing. I would never say that. Never. This is my listing. And I know everything about this listing. And if you want to know the house 2 doors down, why is that house cheaper than this one? I'm going to tell you why that house is cheaper than this one, right? Because I went to see the house. So I want to hear everybody. I want to see what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing because I want to do it different.
I love that. I will tell you, for those that are looking for CRMs, we just started looking for a new CRM, and we've been looking at a follow-up boss. And one of the things that I like about using the app on my phone to call through follow-up boss is that it transcribes your calls and then it gives you tasks. So for example, I'm like Danny, where before I used to, every time that I was in the car, I would listen to a podcast or something like that to get inspired. But now I'm like, nope, I got to make my phone calls. So if I'm making them in the car, I don't have a place to write them down. But if I make my call through follow-up boss, it'll send me a task list. Because of your conversation, you said you would do this and this and this and this and this. And it's phenomenal because then I can just either give it to a team member or get it done. So if you are looking for a CRM, that's the one that we are kind of using to see if it'll help us with what we're doing. Now, we are a few minutes before we're ending. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to remind everybody that we have in-person as well as virtual classes throughout all of our states that we're in. We are in Virginia, Maryland, DC, Florida, and now Oklahoma. And every month we do a virtual mastermind. We also do a virtual book discussion. So in case Danny wants to chat and he wants to hear about a book and he doesn't want to read it, you can join our book discussion with us. Now, Danny, anything else that you would like to tell new agents or agents that are looking to take their business from, ordinary to extraordinary? And I think sometimes some people might get a little intimidated because they're like, your brain thinks differently, right? Like, I love the fact that you are constantly you're hearing what everybody else is doing so that you can look at something different. But what's that lens that makes you think, like, if everybody's doing it this way, how are you thinking of doing it a different way?
You're right. My brain does think all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. I sleep, I do everything with my brain thinking, but I don't know, to be honest with you. It's just how I sit down, I watch videos on Instagram and kind of see it. I know, Instagram for me, it's fake, but you know what? I grab little parts of here and there and things that I'm like, oh, I can actually use this in something else. Like, or I can use this, or I can use that. But yeah, but once something is, keep hustling, guys. The sky's the limit on this business. There's so much opportunity. Just keep throwing, don't give excuses to yourself. Like I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I go to the gym every morning. You know, it is not easy to wake up. You have to teach your body. And it's, you know, till this day, I've been doing it for years now. And it's hard to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, but you have to, you know, how many times I just hit my alarm, and I turn it off, but then I wake up and I was like, oh, I gotta push myself. You gotta keep pushing yourself. Do something proactive, do something. It's just a business. You know, if you're not gonna do something, you're not gonna get paid.
I love that. So be proactive, hustle, do something, become the expert in your area, and then start thinking about what is it that everybody else is doing it and how can you do it differently so you can set yourself apart. Make sure that you are being out there and people know what you do and who you are. And then just try to connect with people. It's not about trying to sell them something all the time. That will come. Just connect, connect, connect. Danny, thank you so much for your time and for all of the information that you have provided us here. Again, if you want to hear this recording, we have it in our monthly newsletters as well as our YouTube channel. And anyway, thank you so much for attending on this snowy day. Everybody stay safe. And Danny's gonna email me the point system. So if anybody needs it, you can either email him. Danny, if your team can put your information there, one more
Up
time.
there. They already did.
Okay, so go up on the very top. You're going to get his information. You can either email him or me for the point information. Thank you so much for attending, and we hope to catch you on our next mastermind next month. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye.